Today we're going to be talking about, well, outlet flips, right? So I think you guys may or may not know, but outlet flips are pretty much, you head to your local outlet and you go inside the store, and you look for profitable items. And this specific method, as a beginner, you can easily make 500 to even like $2,000 a month extra, right? For me personally, this has helped me make an extra like around 2,000 a month on the high end, like 2.5, and on the low end, like 1.5K. And this is just one of the many methods of reselling, but this is one of the more active methods. So you actually have to go in the store. But overall, it's just a very good way. And so yeah, let's get into it. So here's what we're going to be covering today, right? So just going to introduce myself real quick for those that don't know me. But yeah, we're going to talk about what are outlet flips and how, like, what kind of value does it provide? But we're going to pretty much talk about the four steps: what to buy, what do you do about the, because there are discount codes you can apply, and how do I get the boxes? Because a lot of times the outlets don't come with boxes. And we're also going to talk about an outlet roadmap and where to sell at the end. So by the end of this entire lesson, you should have learned how to make an extra $500 to $2,000 a month as a beginner. And so there's going to be a lot more specific things I'm going to talk about in this lesson than, compared to the last one. Last one is very general and kind of getting a better overview of the new market in 2024, but this is going to be very specific. So yeah, let's get into it. So as the same thing for, let's talk about some common issues that people have. So if you guys want, does anyone have any like kind of like issues they may have had with outlet flips in the past? If not, I can just kind of talk about some of the common issues that I've heard myself or kind of experienced myself as well. Well, yeah, so I think one of the biggest issues that people have is the fact that um, you know, they go to outlets, but they usually can't find anything. Um, or two is they go to outlet, they find something good, but it doesn't have a box. And we're gonna talk about that. But these are all issues that you can completely solve, right? So yeah. So I'm just gonna introduce myself real quick. Just for those of you who don't know me. So I started reselling in 2019 with the sneakers app, and I used to line up for leftovers. Um, and I used to even resell with other resellers, like the ones you've seen at SneakerCon. So I would buy shoes, flip them for like a 10-15 profit on top to a different reseller, and I'd even like considered investing in shoes, such as like the Oreo 4. So pretty much what I'm saying is I tried every single method of reselling, but it finally took me until last year to reach a six-figure profit. But yeah, I essentially haven't really gone for a drop in like 2 years. And I all found out like this one new way of reselling shoes through like reselling Sambas, and catching those restocks where I could make like 30 per on like a regular shoe. But yeah, so essentially all that it is I found a new research method that I'll talk about a little bit later, and like kind of writing new trends is kind of what reselling is. We're not reselling for above retail, we're reselling by buying shoes for under retail and selling it for also below retail, but still getting good margin. So here's a picture of me kind of just posing onto Facebook Marketplace when Yeezys were hot back then. And I even tried like reselling on Facebook Marketplace of just random items of designer goods that to make money off of. And last year, here's December Q4. That month I was able to sell a little over $1,000, I mean 1,000 items, and we did over six figures in sales. But yeah, let's talk about what are outlet flips, right? So essentially, outlets offer heavily discounted products. Um, and you can check this on your own Google Maps yourself, see what kind of outlets you guys have near you. So for me, there's a Nike, there's a mall that has a Nike, Adidas, Crocs, and a Foot Locker outlet. So they're all outlets, which means they're heavily discounted. As you can see, these are just some of the pairs that I've bought. This is the Air Max Nike Tempo. I literally accepted a bid for 170 bucks in while I was in the store before purchasing that shoe for 100 bucks. So some of these you see this is 160 to $80, so it's like 50% off. Vapor Maxes another 50% off. GT Cuts, pretty much everything was 50% off discounted. And there are also discount codes you can use in store to get these even below that 50%. But as you can imagine, if you get an Air Max Plus for 90 for 100 bucks, you can definitely sell it for 130, 140. And I personally do all my selling through apps, so you don't have to meet up with anyone, but you can literally sell these in person and meet up with someone to, sell like Air Max 270s. You get it for 80, you can definitely sell it for 130 just because retail is like 160. But here's some things you want to do before you head out to your local outlet. you're gonna want to download the StockX app, right? Um, yeah. So for those of you that are just joining right now, we're just gonna talk about like what are outlet flips. You're not late to anything. But you're gonna want to download the StockX app and also download the Alias app, which is a Goats app. But the point of downloading the StockX app is so you have when you go to the search bar, there's this barcode to search, right? And with this barcode to search, right? So all you have to do, I'm gonna actually show you right now. So I have the app on my phone, right? Click barcode to search, and now you have a little barcode. When you go to the outlet, you'll see the shoes that have the barcode on it. All you do is literally just scan the shoe, right? And take a look. They'll pop up. And so all you're really doing is comparing the price that the outlet is offering at and then comparing it with the StockX price. And yeah, you're gonna want to make sure you download Nike app as well to get those additional discounts that we're gonna get into a little bit later. So here's some models to look out for. I know some people have New Balance outlets near them as well. I personally don't, but if you are, you might want to take a picture of the screen. This is kind of just all the pairs that you want to look out for when you're at the outlet. And the main one we're going to be talking about is Nike. So pretty much you're going to look for anything that's Air Max, right? Air Max is a very trendy shoe. It's always been. So Air Max 90, 97, 95, Vapor Max, Dunks, of course, mostly lows. You don't really want to go for highs. And Air Force lows, mids, and highs also do all well. Vomeros and Zoom GT cuts. And at the Nike outlet, you're also going to find Jordan. So any one of the, Jordan models, the main line, you might see some money in those. Even sometimes Jordan 6 rings and some Jordan cleats. But if you do have the other outlets near you, such as Adidas and Crocs, you want to look out for those as well. So let's talk about discount codes, right? So when you hit to Nike outlet, what you see the price on the box is not the actual ending price that you can get it for, right? So if you go to the Nike app and you make a new account, right? So I personally use this website called Temp Mail, and this produces a new email for me essentially. It's a temporary email. So what you do, you copy and paste and use this email that the website gave you, and you make a new account. When you make a new account, when you go up to cash out, right, you can get an extra 15% off the price, right? So let's say you get an Air Max for 80 bucks, you're gonna get an extra 15% off that just because you just made a new account, right? And so that's where you really get the margins. And also if you have Apple Pay, if you use Apple Pay with the Apple credit card, you get an extra 3% back. So that's really, you're looking at 18% off of already on top of whatever discounts they have, right? So if you go to the back shelf of Nike and it's 30%, right? So it's already cut. So it's already discounted. You get an extra 30% and an additional 15% plus the 3%. That's how you're gonna really hit your high margins with the discount codes. So this just know Temp Mail, and you're gonna want to download the Nike app so you can make a new account. And you're just gonna flash them the QR code that you have on the Nike app. And so a lot of people have the question, how can I sell on StockX, right? So a lot of times you get shoes like these with no box. And if you want to solve the issue, all you have to do, right, is after you buy the shoes. So this is an in-store purchase I made for a Zoom Fly 95, right? And it didn't have a box. It was from the back shelf. All you have to do is order the same exact shoe or a shoe that has the exact same box that fits it on the Nike app. So you order that, you get it in, and then you actually blow dry it. As you can see here, you take a heat gun. I don't have a heat gun myself, but I use a blow dryer. And then the label, right? So there's the size tag label, you literally blow dry that. And then you flip them, you swap it. So you swap it with the no box, and you swap it with the new box, and then you return the shoe. So you're still returning the shoe you bought, just you swap the boxes, right? And so now you have a brand new box. Now you're able to sell on apps like StockX and Goat, right? So, but for the resellers that don't know how to do that, the thing that sucks is they're listing onto Goat because they can't sell on StockX. It doesn't have a box. They'll sell on Goat and they'll sell it for 15 to 10 below the ask just because they don't have a box, and it sells slower, right? So, but once you do this, you're able to get a higher margin. and you're able to sell faster. So let's talk about an outlet roadmap, right? So this is like a very simple roadmap. So this is actually my own outlet that I have nearby. So, you literally just Google near you, Nike outlet, and you're gonna see what comes up. So me personally, I have a fashion outlets. So this is the mall near me. And when I hit this outlet, I make sure to get the Nike, I make sure to hit the Adidas, and I make sure to hit the Crocs. And over here, it's not listed, but there's a Foot Locker outlet as well. So, this is like a 20-minute drive away from where I am. I drive over and, I'm able to hit 4 different stores and see what they have, right? So to increase your chance of like getting something. Usually when you have 4 stores like this and they're all outlet stores, you're probably gonna get at least like a good, you'll find a good couple pairs. Um, and if you're like, I would say average profit, if you're able to hit 4 different stores, you're likely seeing like 200 to 300 profit, right? After you sell everything. With if you use all the tips I need, right? So, discount codes, Apple Pay, 3%, all of that. So this is an outlet roadmap. If it's, if you're in like a big city, it's a little more complicated. So where I'm from, I'm not originally from Buffalo. I'm only here for school, but I do go back to New York City. And, when you search in Google, Nike outlet, this is what you're gonna see. It's a lot more complicated. There's more stores. Um, but let's say I'm starting here, right? You're going to want to make a route for yourself where you can hit multiple stores in the same day. Let's say you have a Saturday or Sunday to spend off from like work or whatever. You can hit these 4 stores and then head home, right? So let's say so you can either go Staten Island Factory Store, then you can hit I think this is Brooklyn Unite store, and then you go to Oceanside and then Deer Park. And so you're able to hit 4 stores, just Nike. Keep in mind, there are other outlets in the same mall, but Nike's the main profit that you're going to want to go after. Or let's say you went to this one already and you didn't have any luck. Well, you can actually try to go, a Route B and hit New Jersey instead. So you hit the factory store here, go to Jersey Garden, and go to Newark, and then Paramus, and then head home at the end of the day. But overall, it's a very fun time, right? I mean, you're really just driving around, going to different malls, and then you're getting some mall food, and maybe you're even going with your family. So it's not really too bad. And it's kind of an excuse to go shopping, if anything. But yeah, if you're in a big city, you're probably gonna want to stay away from the ones that. So this is like Manhattan. You want to stay away from those stores because they aren't outlet stores, right? So you only want to go to stores that are factory or clearance stores. So you want to stay away from all the mainline stores because you're not gonna have any discounts there. And so with that information, you find out what shoes are good, and you literally go inside the store and all you do is just scan shoes, scan every single shoe, and then obviously refer back to the models that I talked about earlier. Is like these are the pairs that are hot. But sometimes you just scan a shoe just because it looks cool, and sometimes it will have resale. And with that, all you literally do when you first start reselling in the outlet is just scanning everything that's in the store, kind of learning the new market, like what pairs can sell, right? And I'm gonna talk about this real quick. Is you want to find something that sells within at least at least 2 times a week, right? You don't want to hold on to a shoe for more than a week. That's gonna slow you down in terms of capital. And of course, better yet, if you can find something that sells multiple times a day. Let's say you get a dunk, that's better. And so let's talk about margin real quick. Is if something moves really fast, let's a daily seller, and you're only making 15, that's not a bad idea, right? So you're gonna buy it and then you're gonna sell it the next day, which is not that bad. But if something is, let's say, a little bit slower, let's say it sells once a week, once every 2 weeks, you're gonna want to at least make, $50 for that shoe, or sometimes it might not even be worth picking up just because it doesn't sell fast enough. But yeah, let's talk about where to sell. Right. So first place is meetups. This is kind of like the beginner stage. And you can meet up with people. You can post on to OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, and have people message you, and you can sell for a higher price than the apps, right? Just because there's no fees involved, you're getting cash. So you can always do that. However, once you start scaling up, you're gonna want to start to head over to the apps, and really get into a more national marketplace, right? Something like eBay, StockX, Goat, Mercari, those all sell to the entire United States. So with that, you're gonna get faster sale. And this is something I recommend if you start getting more than maybe 3 to 4 sales a day. Or you're just very busy with work, right? You can't sell on the marketplace, can't meet up with people every single day. You're gonna want to go head to the apps. You might get a little bit less just because of fees, but keep in mind, as you sell more, the fees will go away. The fees get less and less every single time you sell more shoes. So what you want to do, download the apps, list it up, and just wait, right? Once it sells, pack it up, ship it out, and then, do what you need to do the rest of the day. So that's what I recommend for apps, just because you can't do more than maybe like 3 to 4 meetups a day. And this is a little bit more confusing, but consignment is good for, let's say you find a hype pair of dunks, right? Like a really fast mover. When you do consign, things sell slower, but for a higher price, right? So let's say I'm consigning a Nike Panda Dunk, right? Panda Dunks, I think they're going for 90 on StockX. If you consign it, it's gonna go for 110. I've seen some people sell even for 160 in the smaller sizes. It does take a little longer to sell. So Panda, if you list it, it'll probably sell within like 10 minutes. But if you consign it, it might take, if you're listing it for the 130, 140 price point, it might take even like 2 weeks to sell, but you're getting a lot more bang for your buck. But that comes later, and you only really want to consign shoes that sell fast because consignment usually means a higher price, and someone shopping in store, they're only really looking for the hype pairs. And with that, that kind of concludes our lesson on how do you do outlet flips. It's not too complicated. The main thing is you just gotta grind and you gotta get into the store and just scan everything there, right? You just have to see what's good and you're just gonna learn. But eventually you just get better and better, right? So and just make sure you plan out like a good roadmap.